let's go with Hamid. Mark, Hamid, the man of the $1 million smile. What the matches we had yesterday and today too. I mean, this World Cup is not disappointed us.
It definitely has some surprises. I mean, who would have guessed that Paraguay was going to beat Germany? Now, you were talking about an exciting game. I think that game was the complete opposite of exciting. We knew what Paraguay was going to do. They were going to dig in, park the bus. Once they got that first goal, it was going to just reinforce what they were already going to do. So it was up to Germany to bring the game to them. And to be honest, Germany is going to be a tale for teams like Spain and Portugal to be aware of, because they walked into that game thinking that they were just going to win the game because they're Germany. That is not how football works. We know you got to earn it. And with a team that's going to dig deep like Paraguay, you need to be quicker through the lines. You need to use the wings more, launch the ball in the box for people like Kai Havertz. They didn't do that. And it went to penalties, and it looked like Paraguay was going to sell on penalties. But again, the Germans, for some reason, they didn't look like they were prepared to go all the way to penalties, and they fumbled the ball, and Paraguay won. So that was definitely the biggest surprise of the tournament so far. Brazil and Japan was another game I told people to look out for. That game was actually very fun. It looked like Japan might have done what Paraguay did and upset Brazil, but Brazil turned the gears on in the second half, and the result ended up being Brazil 2-1. What is to be expected from one of the nations who won, 5 World Cups previously? So I'm having a lot of fun with the games right now. And then France and Sweden's going on. Mbappe, Barcola, all of them are playing so good right now. They're looking like the team to beat. They kind of looked kind of like chill in the first half, but now they're showing you the quality they have and why I have them as the best team in the tournament so far.
Hamid, let's talk about Morocco. Morocco showed us in the last World Cup they are one of the best teams in the world. Yesterday was really close, was a fantastic, amazing, and now they are going to the round of 16. What do you think about this African team who's looking so great so far?
Well, it looks like Morocco, again, in another World Cup, will have to carry the flag for all African nations, because we had South Africa getting wiped out by Canada. We had the Ivory Coast getting knocked out by Norway, which, to be honest, I think the Ivory Coast was a little bit lucky not to bring that into extra time and maybe penalties. Maybe they would have had a chance, because Norway's another team where, like, if Holland's not hitting or if Odegaard's not playing on top form, they really have no options up front. So it looks like Morocco will be the representation of Africa throughout the World Cup. I think the last World Cup, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they were the third place team. So here the Netherlands looked like they were going to win, but Morocco tied the game, went to penalties, beat them in penalties. They're definitely a very, very good team. They're one of my dark horses. Now Japan is out. They are my dark horses for this tournament to make a big run and maybe surprise a few people. But definitely a good win for them for Netherlands. Netherlands scared them a little bit, but I think it's a good wake-up call in the round of 32 for them to kind of correct some of their weaknesses going into the round of 16 and hopefully playing better soccer than they did against the Netherlands.
Absolutely, and they have to face Canada, and the way they are playing both teams, they have a chance. I want to ask you, Hamid, about tonight's match here in Mexico City, Ecuador against Mexico. Everybody's talking here in Mexico that last night a lot of fans from Mexico, they went to the hotel where was staying the Ecuadorian team, and they start to make a lot of noise, there were some fireworks, so the team couldn't sleep. Ecuadorians are really upset, but don't you think that's something that belongs to football? It happened, it's not the only time that this happened. What's your opinion about that?
Well, listen, everybody knows even when Mexico travels abroad, Mexican fans are notorious for being there to support Mexico. So the Ecuadorians really shouldn't be surprised that they're making a lot of noise outside their hotel or whatever it is, because when they play today, expect that stadium to be 80% Mexican, 20% Ecuadorians. The Mexicans will show out in force in terms of their fans. And as a team, I think this game should be a very fun game. Two teams where I don't think there's a lot that differentiate them. They kind of do both the same thing. They're not the best defensive teams. They're pretty decent going forward, and they don't really want to be good defensive teams. So I think this is two teams that's going to try to score as many goals as possible. I'm predicting something like a 3-2 Mexican win. I think it's going to be a very, very fun game. I'm going to be surprised if it's like a 0-0 or 1-0 game, because I think these are two teams that don't focus on defense too much. They focus more on attack and have very athletic players on both sides of their team. So I think it should be a very, very fun game to watch here at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Absolutely. Hopefully, I'm going to be at the stadium watching that game. Hamid, one more question. Tomorrow we have England, Republic of Congo, Belgium, Senegal, USA, Bosnia, Herzegovina. Was of those three matches the more interesting for you?
The more interesting, that's a good question. I think the more interesting one will be the Belgium Senegal game. Again, talking about teams that have not impressed me during the group stage. Belgium is one of them. Years ago, when they had the prime of In Hazard, when Romelu Lukaku was in their prime, when Kevin De Bruyne was in their prime. Now they're an aging Belgium squad. They're starting an old, out of shape Lukaku. They haven't really looked very good. Meanwhile, Senegal had looked pretty decent in the group stage. So everyone expecting Belgium because of the name of the nation, the players to win that game. I'm actually having Belgium to lose that game. I think Senegal will beat Belgium tomorrow. So that's definitely a game to look out for. I think it's going to be a fun game because Belgium is going to try to be the Belgium of old, but I don't think they can hack it. The England Congo game, again, that's another game that should be straightforward. England should honestly wipe the floor with the Congo. No disrespect to the Congo, but England on paper are a much better team than the Congo. So I'll be very surprised if this goes into extra time or penalties. England should do what they're supposed to do, which is win this game. But again, England can be England and fumble the ball. And in the USA Bosnia game, again, they're in the same boat as England. They should win that game quite comfortably. But these are two sides that like to get in their way rather than the opposition getting in their way. So we'll see if the USA that we saw against Paraguay and the second game pulls up in this match, or it's the one we saw against Turkey in the last game in the group stage. Which USA are we getting? Are they finally going to break that curse and go as far as I think they can go, which is the quarterfinals against Spain? We'll see, but the game to look out for was definitely Belgium and Senegal.
Hamid, thank you very much. Hamid Mark from Fort Lauderdale in the USA. Hamid was telling us that he thinks it's going to be 3-1